Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to week 6 of the Blitz Player Props Release Show presented by EV Analytics. I am Keith Eyster, Ice819 over at Scores and Odds and RotoGrinders. I am joined today, as always, by the creator of the Blitz projection system. It is Derek Carty. Derek, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Coming off another great week last week, another perfect week. Hopefully we can keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. 3-0 again. We got the Geno Smith passing yards, Christian McCaffrey, the carries, and Breece Hall, the one we tweeted out after the show. Awesome roll that we saw from him. So, yeah, fantastic stuff. Another 3-0 week. ROI up over 50% now on the season. 12-3 overall, the record. So, awesome stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys aren't paying attention for the tweets, we've hit 2 of those. We've done 2 of those so far this year. They've both won. I'd imagine there will be one this week. There's a lot of games that don't have props even offered yet. So as stuff comes out, we might be throwing out another pick or 2, before game time Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still 4 or 5 games, I think, that don't even have props released yet. So we've got 3 for you guys this week already, but definitely looking to add more if they potentially become available later in the week. But let's go ahead and jump right on into the picks. We have our first game of the week. We are looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've got a 44 total in this game. Bucks favored by about 8 on most sites. We are going over to Caesars for this book.
This line's going to be pretty widely available, but Caesars does have the best by a little bit, but you can find this pretty much at any book.
Absolutely. Save a little bit of juice over here on Caesars. We are looking at the running back rushing yards market. All right. And we are looking to take Naji Harris over 44.5 rushing yards, minus 103 over here on Caesars.
Yep. I feel like this is kind of going to be a gross one for people. And I think that's why the line is as low as it is, because everyone hates Naji Harris. They know Pittsburgh is terrible. The narrative now is that, they're going to start working Jaylen Warren in more. Like Naji Harris is going to stop. He's not getting as much work as he used to, and his snaps are going down. And maybe he's not on the field quite as much as he used to be, which was like every single play. But his carries haven't changed. His carries have actually been trending up every single week this year. So as much as this narrative is saying, oh, he's losing all this work, he hasn't been. This is a bad game script, obviously. Pittsburgh is 8-point underdogs here against Tampa Bay. And I think the narrative too is you don't run the ball against Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's run defense hasn't even been that good this year. I think this is still just kind of leftover narrative from last year. So there's really a lot kind of working against this, where everyone's going to look at this and be like, what? You're going to take a rushing prop against Tampa Bay for Naji Harris? And that's kind of why I think it's a good play, because it's gross and the line is too low. The Blitz is projecting 68 yards here on the ground. The line is 44.5. So we're getting 24 yards here at close to even money. So I like this quite a bit. Even though the game script isn't good, it is one of the fastest paced games of the week. So it should just be a boost overall for rushing volume. And obviously with the rookie quarterback now, teams do tend to run the ball a little bit more with rookie quarterbacks because they're not ready for prime time yet. So that's kind of what the Blitz is expecting here. I think there's a good amount of value. And these gross ones are kind of where they are sometimes.
Yeah, a couple of really great points that you made there. A really low line, just first of all, I think is important. Naji Harris is a guy who had been a full-time running back. If he had his same role, he would have a rushing prop near 60 yards in this spot. The line being all the way down at 44.5 makes this some awesome value here. And then the rookie quarterback with the change at quarterback, I think that's a very fair point that they could lean a little bit more run heavy, even in a tough matchup against the Bucks. So definitely like this one, really low line here for a starting running back. And like you mentioned, if we look over here on EV Analytics that producer Steve just pulled up here, the Blitz has Naji projecting for over 68 yards. So fantastic value on this line at near even money.
And especially minus 103 at Caesars. Like you look, it's minus 120 at MGM, DK, Sugar House. So if you can get into that minus 103 number, especially, you're definitely getting in good here.
Yep, absolutely. All right, moving on to our second prop of the week. We are looking at the Carolina Panthers visiting the Los Angeles Rams. We've got a total of 42 points in this game. Rams are big 10-point favorites here. This prop is widely available. I saw it on DK, DraftKings, MGM, and BetRivers. So, and a couple other spots as well. Widely available at the same number. So it looks like Steve has MGM pulled up here. We are going to the running back rushing attempts market here. Perfect. And we are looking, actually, it looks like that number moved a little bit. Steve, do you want to check over at DraftKings or Rivers? We actually had a little bit better number a couple of minutes ago.
I think that might be the best number available right now. Okay. I think it's moved everywhere. Let me check one book real quick. Well, I mean, that's how it works sometimes. You got to get in early because the lines move usually in the direction of what we want. So let's see. Is there one here? No, that's going to be the line everywhere. So let's just take it.
Yeah, I mean, I still absolutely in play. We were looking at minus 110. It moved 5 points on us to minus 115. But we're looking at Christian McCaffrey over 14.5 carries. Looks like it's minus 115 now in it.
Yep, which is still fine. You know, McCaffrey was one we hit last week at 13.5. They've opened them, a carry higher this week, but I still really like it. The Blitz is projecting about 16.5 here, so we're getting 2 full carries. It's another spot where they're an underdog, so like they will at some point in this game probably be forced into passing. They're 10-point underdogs here, which is not ideal when you're taking rushing props. But when you're dealing with a guy like McCaffrey, it's fine because he's going to get 80 to 90% of the team's carries because that's who he is. And it's another situation where the starting quarterback, Baker Mayfield, I guess, is out. We're getting PJ Walker this week, and teams run the ball more when they use backup quarterbacks because backup quarterbacks aren't as good as their starters, even if that starter's Baker Mayfield. So this is a spot where we should expect Carolina to want to try to run the ball more, at least early in the game. And yeah, I mean, very just similar processes last week. The Blitz is just projecting it, a little higher because of who McCaffrey is.
Yep, it's all about the workload here. The Blitz has the workload pegged correctly. I mean, as we saw last week, so great value, getting almost 2 carries in projection on this number, and minus 115, not too bad a juice on this. So absolutely, really like this one. Like they should lean run heavy here, especially to begin the game with the way that Baker Mayfield has struggled. Really tough opponent in the Rams. I think they try to slow the game down a little bit. So absolutely makes sense here.
And it's worth noting that all of McCaffrey's props across the boards, his carries, his rushing yards, his rushing plus receiving yards, all of it has been moving in this direction. Since the market's open.
Yeah,
so
with the coaching change, I think a lot of people were down on Carolina. They were conservative with the props, and like it's still Christian McCaffrey. He's still going to have a very similar role. I think that this makes a ton of sense here.
Yep, I like it.
All right, this next one, I was very glad to see that you brought this one up. I actually recorded the morning grind with Stevie last night, and this was a take that I had on this Rams game. So we're on the same page here. Anytime I'm on the same page as the Blitz, I'm always very happy to see that. So
yeah, this one opened up, I think, like a half hour ago. It's already moving quick. So hopefully we get in at a good line here.
All right. We're in the same game here. Still looking at running back. We're going to the other side of this game here. We are again looking at the running back rushing attempts market. Let's see here. We are looking for Cam Akers.
I think MGM is the book we're looking for, not DK.
Just give Steve a little moment to get over there. Got the Rams Panthers game, rushing attempts. Looks like they pulled it down here too.
They pulled it down everywhere.
I think Bet Rivers was the other one that we might be able to find it at.
Oh, this was the best one.
Bear with us just a moment here, folks. We lost our line. That's what we get by trying to do these live and give you guys the best lines possible. Sometimes the lines just disappear on us or they move on us.
Well, it was so inefficiently priced that the books might have just pulled it down because, I think that's probably what happened. It was such a bad line that they just said, we're not even going to offer this until we can get it better. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere right now.
You just want to stick with the 2 this week. You want to try to pivot to maybe the rushing yards, or we'll pass and maybe send a tweet as the line comes back up.
That's probably what we'll have to do. I'm trying to find any book that's still posting this line. I'm not having a lot of success at the moment.
Man, I love this take too, so I really wanted to get it out there. But we'll see here.
Should have done this one first. Damn.
Hopefully this one opens back up at a similar number. But do you want to give a little hint or a little tease just in case this line pops up and people can catch it, or do you just want to hold off and wait to send out a tweet?
They're not going to open it up at the same number. If we'll say it, if they do, the line was Cam Akers rushing attempts 11 and a half, and it opened at like -110, and then it moved at a bunch of books like -190, and now it seems like everywhere has like pulled it off. If you can still find a Cam Akers 11 and a half at any number, hit the over on it.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of uncertainty around this backfield. People don't know what to do with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. The Rams have kind of juggled their usage a little bit, but just in looking at usage numbers over the first couple of weeks here, it seems very clear to me that Cam Akers is a guy that will get the rushing attempts. Darrell Henderson has been used more in the passing game. So in a game where the Rams are favored by 10 points and projected to play from ahead for the entire game, I love Cam Akers props this week. I think that he'll be the lead back here when they're ahead. Like, he seems to be the guy that they trust on the ground the most. So that's why I really like this one.
Yeah, I mean, Henderson didn't get a single attempt last week, and I know Akers
13 carries for Akers last week in a game that they were trailing the whole time against Dallas. So that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like everyone hates Akers. He's been terrible, but like if we're just talking about attempts, he's been getting them. This sucks. That's the way betting works, though. Like, you're on something good, and you should expect it to move the way you want it to. It's going to move against you as it gets closer to games. The lines are going to get more efficient, and when they're really inefficient to begin with, the books pull them sometimes. So that's what we're dealing with.
Tim in the chat here says that there's a line on Caesars for 13 and a half. If you go back to that,
that's more in line with where I would expect them to open it at. At that, I like it. I don't like it as much.
And it's 13 and a half with -142 juice as well. So Steve just had the EV analytics page there. I think the projection was 16 and a half carries or roughly thereabouts for Akers. Still a bettable number, but the juice is not ideal on that.
Yeah, no, you definitely prefer it at 11 and a half. 13 and a half is fine. There's going to be value. I'm not going to call that a play. It's not going to be like one of the best ones of the week, the way we like to do on the show, but it's fine if you want to hit that number. Just the nature of sports betting, unfortunately, we're constrained by show times and kind of how things move. And that's just the way it works. That's what professional bettors are dealing with, on a daily basis. You got to move quickly and you got to get in at the best numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we try to bring this show to you guys live at a good time where there's still some great lines available. Catch us live to be able to get these lines, because a lot of times we'll give out the plays and then the lines move. So if you're watching this on playback a couple hours later, the same line may not be available. But
yeah,
So it's just going to be the two plays for us this week. We've got Naji Harris over 44.5 rushing yards, Christian McCaffrey over 14.5 carries. We are definitely keeping an eye on this Cam Akers rushing attempts line. Unfortunately, we lost the 11.5, so we're going to pass on the 13.5 for now. But keep an eye on Twitter at RotoGrinders and at Derek Carty. If anything else opens up with Cam Akers, we're definitely jumping on that. And then there are a couple games that still have props yet to release. So definitely a good chance that we will add at least another play here by Sunday. Make sure you're keeping an eye on the Twitter accounts. Derek, do you have anything else for the people?
No, that's it. Just keep an eye out. I'd like to add to, at least a play or two if I can, especially losing the Akers one. So I'll be watching the markets and, good luck this week.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will catch you next week on Thursday at 2:30 Eastern. So make sure you are tuning in live to get the best lines here. Appreciate you guys joining us. We'll catch you next week.